it's confirmation bias, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idea is you kind of using that example of if only X, then Y would happen, whatever. And we always look for the cases that fit, so like, again, with video games and mass homicides, people would look at, cases like Columbine, with 1999, two teenagers who played, video games, shot up their high school, and say, like, look, I mean, what more do we need to say? There's an anecdote, right? And the reality is that anecdotes are not evidence, because you can find another, like Virginia Tech. It turned out he only played Sonic the Hedgehog. He was not a violent video game player. The Sandy Hook, the guy I was talking about earlier, the Connecticut shooter, he mostly played Dance Dance Revolution. So people will tend to ignore those cases where an anecdote doesn't fit the narrative, and they'll focus only on these anecdotes that do fit whatever sort of worldview narrative that they have. And that's part of human nature. It's confirmation bias. Is we tend to pick the piece of evidence that support what we already think, and we either ignore or are very hostile towards pieces of evidence that don't fit our worldview. And we all do it. I'm no exception, by the way.
Yeah, it seems like it's one of those things where, the desire to have a simple explanation, it's sort of, okay, if it's easy for me to understand why this happened, maybe it's easier for me to grapple with it. But then the other side of that is, if you make these connections that are too simplistic, it could also have just a completely negative effect on you, where we all know people who seem to be blaming every single thing that's gone wrong in their life on some outside force, rather than sort of taking responsibility for it. And that's a dangerous game to play, where it's like, no, you gotta be able to confront even the hardest stories to tell and to accept.
Yeah.